What's happening, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to update my A7R3s to the latest version 3 software which came out yesterday. So I'm going to run you through the process. We're going to download the software, update it live on my MacBook and go through the whole thing. Now there's a couple of things that you're going to want to remember. Firstly, you really want to use the factory USB-C cable that came with your camera. Not all cables are created equal, and some of them can just have a little bit of a problem and be buggy depending on the computer you're using and stuff like that. So if your update fails, it could be because of the USB-C cable you're using. So just go and change it out for another one, try it again and see how it goes. The other thing you'll need to do is just make sure your camera has more than 50% battery so you can go ahead with the update. So I've got my A7R3, I've got my USB-C cable. This time we're going to use my MacBook Pro. Last time I tried it on my iMac Pro and it didn't work, it just kept failing, so I ended up reverting back to my PC, but this time we're going to try the MacBook Pro and see how that goes. After we've done the update, we're going to go through, check out some of the features and just see how the camera performs compared to how it was before the update. So we've had a quick play around with the A9 with its latest update, which came out a little while ago, and that thing has just changed the entire camera. So I am going to be doing a review on the A9 again with the new firmware update and let you guys know what I think about that, but it's a big change if you have the A9. Just before we plug the camera into the computer, you need to make sure your camera settings in the USB storage section is changed to mass storage. So if you go to setup 4 and page 7 here, you can see you've got an option for mass storage. So just click that, make sure it's on mass storage and you should be fine. Okay guys, here we go. I'm just about to jump into the browser and we're just going to go ahead and download the firmware for my A7R3. So all you really need to do is just Google Sony A7R3 firmware update, and that should pretty much take you to the first link. Now the only thing is you need to make sure you download the right one for your computer, so whether you're using Mac or PC. Pretty much every time I've tried to use it with Mac it's failed, so I'm not sure why, but we're going to try it with Mac now on my MacBook Pro anyway. So let's go ahead and click this one here. So we've got Mac version 3, download, accept the user agreement. Alright, so I've downloaded that. I've just clicked the file, that's going to extract it and open the tool up. So now that that's extracted, I know from last time I double clicked this and nothing really worked. So if you go into the resources file and then double click system software updater, now you're just going to have to click open. So now we just need to connect our camera and get that going. Okay, so I have my camera plugged in, turned on, and now it should recognize it, so we're just going to go ahead and click next. So it's recognized the camera here, and as you can see current version is 2.1, version after the update is version 3.0. so all you got to do is go ahead and click next. Now while this is running through, I'll speed it up and let you guys know how long it took exactly at the end. If you're having issues with the camera connecting or anything like that, it's probably a good idea to just make sure you don't have any software running like Final Cut or anything that could be using the camera's USB port to, be importing anything or anything like that. It's probably also a good idea just to go ahead and remove any SD cards that you might have in the camera in case you have any photos and something goes wrong. I've never heard of that happening, but you never know. Alright, so the firmware update is finished. We can go ahead, click finish, and pretty much just have a play with it. Okay, so that's all done now. The main things obviously about this firmware update is that the eye focus is going to be greatly improved with the real-time tracking, and we have interval shooting for time lapses and stuff like that. So this is part 1 of how to update the camera. Part 2, I'm going to go out and we're going to play with the eye focus, record the back of the camera screen and do some interval shooting, make some time lapses, which is pretty new to me, to be honest. Time lapses are not something that I've really been doing, but I might get into it now that I can on my Sony. So watch out for part 2, guys. I'll see you soon.